Good morning. All right, time for yoga here. Today, throughout our class, I would like to offer up the idea of focusing on the breath. So, a lot of times with yoga, part of the benefit is that it's this moving meditation. So, as we go through the poses, the idea is that the poses are just challenging enough that we can stay in the present moment, have some help, not letting our thoughts wander. And so one of those strategies to help bring us back into the present moment is focusing on our breath. And so I will cue that throughout class today. But also with some of our poses, we're going to be using a block. And so if you have one of those, or we can use anything else that's sturdy, so like a sturdy water bottle that you could put at the top of your mat, go grab one of those if you have it, and then we'll come back here in just one moment. All right, so we are going to start in a wide knee child's pose. So go ahead and get settled on your mat, take your knees nice and wide. That block, if you have it, is going to go at the top of your mat. If you don't have anything, that's totally okay. So knees are going to be wide, and then big toes touching, and then reach forward and lower your chest down to the mat. Forehead rests on the mat. And so in this child's pose, start to connect to the breath. Feel your body get heavy and sink into the mat. Think about all the muscles around your hips relaxing. Let the muscles on the back of your neck relax. And thinking about breathing into all sides of your belly. Every breath in, feeling that air fill your stomach and your sides, and even breathing into your low back. And every exhale, feeling your body relax a little bit more into this posture. Breathing in, feeling that expansion all around your tummy and your low back. And as you exhale, sinking deeper into the pose. And then bring your knees close together. So now we're going to do a different variation of child's pose, where you're going to bring your knees in. So knees are touching, big toes are also still touching, and then rest forward. Arms can be extended, or you can fold them under your forehead. And breathe here, especially breathing into your low back here. So now that our stomach doesn't have as much room to expand, focus on how as you breathe in, your lower back lifts. Continue the slowness of the breath that might have happened in our first child's pose. And feeling yourself sink deeper into the mat on every exhale. Now take your arms out long And take them all the way over to the right, even off of the right side of your mat if that feels good. And then bring your left hand on top of your right hand and feel this nice stretch for your left side body. Breathe deep into your left side. And on your exhale, melt more into the stretch. And then come back to the middle and then take your hands off of the mat over to the left side. Stacking your palms. And breathing into your right side body. Return to the middle, and then rise up onto hands and knees for cat-cow. Starting with cow, looking forward, breathing in as the tummy drops, and then cat pose. Exhale, rounding in, looking towards the belly button. Inhale, look forward, feel your tummy drop. And exhale, round in, look inwards. Inhale, as you look forward, feel your shoulder blades draw together and down on your back. And as you exhale, round, feel yourself push the ground away through your hands. Inhale, look forward, shoulder blades squeeze down and together. Exhale, round in, push the ground away. Inhale, look forward, shoulder blades squeezing together on the back. And exhale, round in, look inwards. And then coming back to the middle. From here, take your right arm high, and then take it in some big circles here. Reaching all the way through all of the range that you have. Feeling yourself really taking up space here. Noticing the sensations in your body. And then reaching up towards the ceiling. And then reaching under and through for thread the needle, setting your head down on the mat. Feeling a nice stretch on the back of the right shoulder. And then lifting back up here, and then we're going to take the same thing on the opposite side. So reach your left arm high and start circles on your left side. Up, around, and back, taking up all of that space. Reaching up the different sensations around your shoulder, on the front of your chest. Watching your arm go around if that feels okay in your neck. And then reaching nice and high, and then threading that arm through for thread the needle on the left side. Coming back to the breath here. And know that you will get off track. It's hard to do a whole class keeping your focus on the breath or staying in the present moment the entire time. So the purpose is not that it's perfect, but it's the practice of coming back to it, noticing when you've lost it, and being able to pick it back up. Good. And then return to the tabletop position, and we're going to do spinal balance here. So spinal balance and bird dog are the same pose, just a different name. And so what we're going to do is reach our right leg back and our left arm forward. And feel your tummy drop up and in to keep you stable here. And feel the opposite like pull of your heel towards the wall behind you and your hand towards the wall in front of you. Keep that left wrist lifted towards the ceiling. Right heel lifts towards the ceiling as well. Tummy draws in. Stay lifted out of your right arm. And then set that down. So as we lift our arm and our leg, what we want to be careful not to do in our back is have our back dip down. So that's why we're staying focused on our tummy lifted so that our back stays nice and straight as we do this. So we'll talk through that on this side as well. Lift your left leg back, right arm forward, and then draw your tummy in. Reach that back heel out towards the ceiling, but also towards that back wall. And then same thing with the top hand. So towards the wall in front of you, but also up towards the ceiling. Feel that lift in both of your limbs. And then draw your tummy up and in. And feel a lift out of your left arm so that we're not dumping all of our weight there, but using our muscles to stay lifted. And then set the arm and the leg back down. So as you do this, think about that opposing draw of arm and leg away from each other, lifting them up towards the ceiling, but also tummy drawing up and in. So we'll think about tummy first. So tummy draws up and in, and then right leg, left arm reaches. And set back down. Breathe in. And then exhale, draw your tummy up and in. Left leg, right arm. Reach that left heel high towards the ceiling. Tummy stays in. Set them down. We'll do 2 more each side. Tummy draws in. Right leg, left arm. Tummy stays lifted. Set back down. Breathe in. Exhale, draw your tummy up and in, left leg back, right leg forward, right arm forward. Set them back down, inhale, and on your exhale, draw your tummy up and in, right leg back, left arm forward, staying lifted out of that right arm. Rest those limbs, and then exhale, tummy up and in, left leg back, right arm forward. and set them back down. Great job. We're going to return to the breath. So here, in this tabletop position, find that place where tummy is a little bit lifted so that we have a neutral spine. We're not letting it sag into cow pose. And we have a little bit of puff up between our shoulder blades. And here, breathe into your tummy and exhale, let it go. We're going to use our breath as we lift up into down dog. So walk your hands, one hand width forward, tuck your toes under, and then breathe in, and as you exhale, lift up into downward facing dog. In down dog, feel a nice stretch through the back of your legs. Start to pedal out, bending one leg, straightening the other. And then reach your right leg up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog, and then bend your right knee, and then bend and open like you're looking under your right armpit, and you're going like to stack your hips. So as you look to your right, your hips are also opening to the right. And then hips square to the mat, straighten your leg, set the leg back down, and then feel that difference between your right and left side. Does one leg feel longer? And then lift your left leg high, and then bend your knee, look under your left armpit, and then open your left hip towards the left wall. So hips are going like they're going to stack on each other, opening towards the left wall, and then bring hips square to the mat, straighten your left leg, and set it down. Now look forward. We're going to walk forward, and then rise all the way up to mountain pose. And then here we're going to take a vertical twist. So open your arms in a T to the right, and revisit the breath. When I say revisit the breath, all I mean is breathe and draw your attention to it. So think simple mindfulness of just inhale and exhale. And then one step further would be thinking about sending that air to your belly. Bring your hands together up overhead, and then open up and twist to your left. Bring your attention to the breath again here. There's no right or wrong of how your breath should be. Back up to the center, hands meet in the middle, and then fold all the way forward. And then here we're going to take another twist. So plant your left hand on the mat, bend, big bend through your left knee, and then open your right arm up towards the ceiling, turning towards the right wall. Breathing here, feeling that nice twist in your back, but also the nice big stretch on the back of your right leg. If you have a block and it feels better, you can bring your hand to a block instead of all the way to the ground. Then place your right hand on the block or your mat, and then open up all the way to the left. The arm reaches towards the ceiling, facing the left wall. Left leg straightens to feel a nice stretch here. And reach the top of your head towards the front of the room. Hands back to the middle, back to our forward fold. You can move your block out of the way. And then come on up into a halfway lift. And then fold forward and step back into downward facing dog. Stretch your heels towards the ground. Revisit the breath here. Breathing in. And as you let it go, sink deeper into the pose. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, and then rise up. Sweep your hands all the way up into mountain, and then again, twist and open to the right, arms out in a T. And then hands back together overhead, twist and open to the left. Hands back together, and then open your arms, sweep them all the way down. Halfway lift, stretching the crown of your head towards the front of the room. And then fold forward, plant your hands, and step back into downward facing dog. We'll go through this one more time. Looking forward, walking our feet forward, and then dramatically sweep the arms up into mountain, and feel strong through your legs. Feel all of those muscles in your legs activate, glutes are strong, as we open up into a T, stretching open into the right. Hands back and together, and then twist and open to the left. Hands lift and meet, and then fold forward. Halfway lift, stretching your head towards the front of the room. And then plant your hands and step back into downward facing dog. Ground down through all parts of your hand. Feel the ball of your foot, but on your hand. At your first finger, really ground down into the ground. And by first finger, I mean pointer finger, And then lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. And then step that leg through to a low lunge. And then set your back knee down for crescent moon. Rising up, lunging forward into that front leg. Engage your left glute to feel a stretch on the front of your left hip. And breathe here. With your inhale, think about sending air, sending all the nutrients that we breathe in to that left hip. And as you exhale, sinking into the stretch. And then sit back, stretch your right leg forward for half splits, getting a stretch on the back of our right leg, toes reaching towards your knee, and be light through your fingertips here. So if that feels hard, go ahead and grab some, if you have blocks with you, that can help you feel more lifted here. This can also be a good one to do like between the coffee table and the couch where you have that support there. But staying light through our hands, our legs are active here. Keeping not super rounded over our front leg, but trying to keep a little lift in our chest towards the wall in front of us so that we're not totally rounded over this leg. And then lunging forward again, lifting up, and we're going to alternate between these two. So crescent moon here, and then half splits, sitting back for a hamstring stretch. front knee, lunge forward, lift up, and then sitting back, stretching those right toes towards the knee. And then lunging forward. And then here's a change. So plant your hands, tuck your back toes under, and then lift up into full crescent pose. So our back knee is lifted, we're still in a lunge. And then bring your arms down by your sides, torso forward at a 45-degree angle, arms in line with our hips, palms towards the ground for airplane crescent. Feel all of this work in our front right leg. And then bring your arms up overhead for lightning bolt. So here we're in one long line from the back of our left heel through our fingertips. Stay bent through that right knee as you do this. And then lower your hands down around that front leg. Sit back for a half split. And then back in the low lunge. Lift that right leg, step it back for down dog, and stretch your heels towards the ground. This time, lift left leg high, and then step it forward and through for a low lunge. Set your right knee down and rise up into crescent pose. Crescent moon here. Lunging forward. Feel how engaging the right glute gives a stretch on the front of your right hip. Stay nice and tall here. And feel like you're almost trying to scrunch up the mat by drawing your left foot back and your right knee forward at the same time. So without really moving them, just that engagement of drawing your left foot back and your right knee forward. And then sit back, walk your left foot forward a little bit, and straighten your left leg to feel a stretch on your left side. Stay light through your fingertips here, grab a block. You can also use a wall if you're next to a wall. And find a little lift in your chest. A little bit of that halfway lift feeling that we do. That'll help us feel more in our hamstring. So think about drawing your left toes towards your left knee and sitting straight back, even though our body wants us to sit off to the right. And then now come forward into your crescent moon again, and we're going to flow between these two. So right glutes engaged, feeling that stretch in your right hip, and then sitting back, feeling a stretch on the left side. Lunging forward, bending our front knee, lifting up. Breathing, checking back in with the breath. Sitting back, straightening our left knee, toes towards the knee, and breathing here. Lunging forward, bend through the front knee. Front knee is over the front ankle. Breathing here. Sitting back. One more stretch on this side. Breathing your air into that left hamstring. And as you exhale, relaxing more into the stretch. And then lunging forward. Then here we're going to tuck your back toes under and then rise up into a full crescent pose. So our front knee is still stacked over our ankle. Our hips are square towards the front of the mat. And then arms are going to come down by your side as your torso comes forward to 45 degrees for airplane. Palms towards the ground. Our right heel reaches back behind us. And then arms up overhead. One long line from our fingertips through the back of our heel for lightning bolt. And then plant your hands. Straighten your left leg, stretch back for one more hamstring stretch on this side. And then bend the knee, low lunge, and then step that leg back for downward facing dog. Feel your sits bones lift towards the ceiling as you sink your heels down and into the mat. Revisiting the breath here and now. Now we're going to come forward into plank, and then we're going to lower all the way down onto your belly. Here for mini cobra. So go ahead and bring your hands next to your shoulders, and at the bottom, draw in your tummy. And then press through your hands as you hold your core engagement as you start to lift your chest off of the mat and look forward. Hold the core engagement. Use as much weight through your hands as you need to not feel this in your back. And then lower down slowly. Take a breath in and out and let that round go. Take another breath in and out. And then take a breath in to prepare, and on your exhale again, draw your lower tummy up and in away from the mat. Feel your belly pulling away from the mat, shoulders drop down and together, and push through your hands as you lift your chest gently off of the mat. Doesn't matter how far we go here. And feel your core doing that work. And then exhale, lower down, and take another round of breath here to let that go. Breathe in, and exhale, let all of that effort go. Straighten your arms down by your sides. Turn your palms down to touch the ground. And then here we're going to do locust pose. So with locust, we're going to lift our arms up off the ground, but we're also going to lift our legs. So our belly and our hips will be the only thing on the ground. So we're going to do that same core engagement, but we're also going to add a bit of our arms in our glutes. So take a breath in to prepare, and then on your exhale, draw your tummy up and in. Lift your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together, squeeze your buns, and lift your legs off of the mat. Feel your ankles drawing together. Hands lifting up towards the ceiling, shoulders squeezing together, and lift the back of your head up towards the ceiling like you're tucking your chin in. And then let all of that go. Sink back down to the mat. Take a breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then bring your knees bent, and then slowly let your feet sway over to the left, back to the middle, and then let your legs sway over to the right. Feet back to the middle, twist to the left, middle, and then a gentle twist to the right. Now, push through your arms. We're gonna come up to a seated position just briefly, and then lay down on your back. We're going to do a couple of rounds of bridge here before we do our final postures. So laying down on your back, preparing for bridge, bring your feet in close to your body. And then we're going to pair this one with the breath as well. So we're going to lift on an exhale. This might feel opposite. A lot of times in yoga, we are pairing an inhale with a sort of like a back bend. But here, the idea is more exhale with the effortful movement. So that might feel different, but try that on today if you feel up to it. So take a breath in, and then on your exhale, lift your hips, squeeze your buns, keep your knees drawn towards each other. Feel a nice stretch in your tummy, maybe in the front of your hips, and keep your hips lifted. Hold this as you keep your knees drawn towards each other, and then slowly lower. Take a breath in. Let that go. Take another breath in. And on this exhale, draw your tummy in. Squeeze your buns as you lift up. Knees stay drawn towards each other. Glutes are working hard here. And then as we lower, think about lowering one vertebrae at a time. So feel your upper back touching the mat first, then your mid back, then your lower back, and then your sacrum. Bend your knees. And then take your knees over to your right side. We're going to come into spinal twist here. Take your arms out nice and wide. Take up lots of space here. Take them in a T or a goalpost if you have less space. And then optional here to turn your head to the left. Feel this nice twist through your whole spine. Breathe into your belly here. Revisit that gentle inhale and exhale. Bring your knees back to the middle and then let them fall to the other side. Stack your hips here. So knees are stacked on top of each other, hips are stacked. And then open up to the right, again taking up lots of space with your arms. Optional to look to the right. And breathing here, resting, relaxing. Knees back to the middle, and then bring everything in for one final ball pose. Big hug of your knees, squeezing in, and then let it go. Straighten the legs, arms down by your sides, palms up for final Shavasana. Let your head be heavy here. Let your hips go. Let all the muscles in your legs melt away. Feel your hands relax. Face, eyebrows, relax and release any tension. And use these last few moments to again reconnect with the breath and let that breath help keep you grounded in the present moment. If you'd like to, feel free to stay in Shavasana for another 10 minutes, however much time that you have to stay and rest and enjoy. But if you're ready to move on with your day, roll to your side and then gently press up through your arms. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you can use that focus on the breath throughout your week to help cultivate a little awareness of the present moment. We will be back here next week, and I look forward to seeing you all.